We are live. Yep. From what I can tell, we're live. The mic seems to be working. All right, cool. So, um, yeah, welcome back, guys. We're officially 13 days out from the February 20th LSAT-Flex. One sec, sorry, I'm watching the Manchester City Liverpool game on the side, and it seems that Manchester City just scored. Um, Gundogan missed a penalty earlier, but it looks like he scored, so um, good for him. Let's watch it. Oh, a rebound off of who is that? Phil Foden? Yeah, Sterling passed to Foden. Foden shot saved by Becker. Gundogan scores on the rebound. All right, um, not bad. But anyway, uh, we're live again. 13 days out, a little under 2 weeks from the big day, and I'll be doing my weekly review / Q&A session as to how many questions there will be. I guess that is unknown to me as of now. I definitely got some questions in the channel's email. Um, so, um, for those of you that have any questions and would like to email them to me, you can go ahead and email them to the email I just put in the chat. It's just the LSATStudyBuddy@gmail.com. No underscores, spaces, hyphens, numbers, none of that. Just the LSATStudyBuddy, all lowercase, at gmail.com. I did get a few this week that I will go over. Other than that, it's just going to be a Q&A as people show up. And until then and around then, it'll be a little review session for myself. Just going over this past week. This week, we did tests 51 through 54, along with the May 2020 Flex. I do want to do just made note of that. I will be going over the May 2020 logic game, the fourth logic game, because that one gave me probably the most trouble out of all of them. I'll be looking over tests 51, 52, 53, and 54. 51, there's nothing to look over. 52. One moment. I need to go to the report. Report. Okay, so test 52, we need to go over number 19 and number 23 of section 3. Oh, I think 52 was the just day that I didn't want to do anything anymore. I don't really remember all the days when you're studying this much every day, or almost every day, just really start getting to you. Oh no, that was test 53. All right, so for some reason the logic games in this test seem to have given me a lot of trouble, which would explain why I got frustrated. Seemingly I did well in the reading comp. I think I only did one of those passages, the comparative reading passage. All right, so we will do logic games. Logic games of 53. And then let's go to 54. I keep clicking the wrong thing. Review history and then report. All right. And yeah, okay. So I don't really have anything to review there. All right, so what I'll be reviewing is I'm going to be doing test 52, numbers 19 and 23 of section 3, which are logical reasoning. I'll be doing the logic game section again from test 53. And then I'll be doing the fourth logic game from the May 2020 Flex that I took yesterday. I have thought about it generally since I finished it yesterday, and I still haven't found the key that I needed, you know? So hopefully we can figure that one out together. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get started on test 52. And again, this stream could either be really short or it could be really long. The goal is to be open for Q&A for anyone that has any questions. But once I'm done reviewing what I have to review and answering the questions that I got in the email out loud, although I emailed those people back already, I'm not just going to sit around doing nothing. So hopefully people roll in is my point. I'd love to help people. Like, I'm not a direct one-on-one tutor, but I can answer questions, you know? So, people can utilize me if they so choose to. Otherwise, they don't have to. Oh, okay. I reviewed this one. I remember this passage. I remember why I got it wrong, and I remember why my answer that I picked was wrong. That's it. It's just this is the if you guys have been following, it's this is the one with the large mammals and the dinosaurs. If I remember correctly, the passage was, and I'm looking away so that I don't look. The passage was angiosperms have angiosperms have like poison in it. The the poison kills dinosaurs, but modern large mammals can cope with it, can digest it. And then the conclusion is basically um, angiosperms are the reason that dinosaur fossils are found in like contorted, messed up positions. And it asks us which of the following most undermines the theory. And the answer choice was that large mammal fossils have also been found in contorted positions, which would mean that the poison from the angiosperms doesn't cause it. It's just how people die, or how animals, dinosaurs, whatever it might be, die. Um, and then the one I picked was that angiosperms are beneficial or something, provide a great deal of nutrition to say, which my reasoning was it's not like it helps. It's not always a bad thing. But that's because I crossed out many fossils of large mammals, reading it as many fossils of large dinosaurs, or not understanding what they were trying to do here. But I understand the question. And my answer just doesn't. My answer just said they don't always do bad things, but just because they don't always do bad things doesn't mean that sometimes they do bad things or don't do bad things. But yeah, so I got that one wrong. I already reviewed that though, so pretty straightforward. And this one, I remember this. I selected an answer choice that said a bacteria can continue to thrive indefinitely only in an environment in which the hydrogen sulfide they produce has removed all oxygen and killed other organisms in the area. Um, reading this now, they produce has removed all oxygen and killed other organisms in the area only in an environment. Well, that's not necessarily true, and I didn't see this. If I remember the passage correctly, bacteria can continue to thrive indefinitely, not only in an environment in which the hydrogen sulfide they produce has removed all the oxygen, but an environment in which the hydrogen sulfide protects the bacteria from oxygen. It's not that all the oxygen needs to be removed and killed other organisms in the area. It's not that it needed to have killed them already. It's just that it's able to kill them in the area to feed the bacteria. And then the answer was a dense colony of bacteria, which is the conclusion was a dense colony, not a bacteria. So that should have given it away right there. But that's fine. A dense colony of bacteria can indefinitely continue to produce enough hydrogen sulfide to kill other organisms in the area and to prevent oxygen from harming the bacteria. And the conclusion was, as a result, a dense colony of bacteria produces for itself environment in which it can continue to thrive indefinitely. So which one of the following is most strongly supported by the information above? A dense colony of bacteria can indefinitely continue to produce enough hydrogen sulfide, and let me just draw directly, right? So a dense colony of bacteria. As a result, a dense colony of these bacteria can indefinitely that and I'm going to put this hand up when I go to the answer choice and this hand up when I go back to the passage, okay? So I'm going to start over. As a result, a dense colony of these bacteria, answer choice, a dense colony of the bacteria, and then back to the question, the end of it, can continue to thrive indefinitely, can indefinitely continue to produces for itself an environment, produce enough hydrogen sulfide to kill other organisms in the area and prevent oxygen from harming the bacteria, which was earlier in the passage. So it restated the conclusion. It restated the conclusion. It said the passage went premise, 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 conclusion. And it said a conclusion comes from this premise, and this premise, which were the same premises. So I got that one. Whoa, Liverpool had a penalty? All right. Well, it's 1-1. I missed the foul. But I figured out. I already reviewed this. I think this is the problem. I'm getting. Oh, that's a bad penalty to give away. All right. I guess that's part of the game. Sometimes you put in a bad tackle and you know it's a bad tackle the second you go in. But part of the game. I think the problem is that I'm not getting many wrong. Okay, don't quote me on that. Don't. I didn't mean it like that. I think that the my main concern, or not even my main concern, the these study sessions. The issue is that I review because I don't get many logical reasoning wrong or too many reading comp at this point or too many logic games at this point is that often, but particularly for logical reasoning and reading comp, not so much for logic games, I go back right after I finish and I look at the answers and I understand what I did wrong. So then when I come back to the review session, it's like, oh, I remember this one and I remember why I got it wrong. So it's definitely not the largest time consuming effort. Okay, anyway, we're gonna go to test. I'm gonna do the May 2020 Logic Games 4 before I do test 53, I think. And I'm not gonna do it timed. Nothing like that. I just want to do it and see if I can find a better way to do the problem. Just a better. Sorry, I'm just moving the game so I can look up and see it. All right, so it's an 8-day theater festival. I still don't see anything that I could have done. All right. Well, what? City scored? When did that happen? Why is it whenever I look down, someone scores? That's not cool. All right. I don't really know what to say other than I still haven't found a trick, but I definitely did it faster this time. Um, you can't have more than two doubles, and you can't have any letter going three times. So the only W you have are 1 and 5 and 2 and 7. And then other than that, it's just a matter of plugging it in, which takes time. So I definitely should have been able to cut time earlier. I think I spent too much time on question 3. Um, yeah, but anyway, I did it. So I can't really go back and see where I went wrong. It's not like a logical reasoning. Oh, wow. Wow, wow, wow. That's a goal and a half. That was real pretty. That's not your fault, Becker. That was just a really good play. All right, 3-1 Manchester City. This game is over. It's over. I'm sorry, Liverpool fans. Oh, no, that one was Becker's fault. He passed him the ball. He gave whatever his name was. Who is that? I can't even tell. Who is that? Silva? Bernardo or something? I think that's his name. Is it Bernardo Silva? I'm just checking. One moment, please. Is it Bernardo Silva? It is Bernardo Silva. Nailed it. All right, 3-1. Anyway, Sterling scored. And that's it. So we just reviewed the logic game from the fourth logic game from May 2020 Flex. LSAT-Flex sample. Again, if you have any questions about anything LSAT related or a specific question from any of the tests, feel free to put it in the chat and I'll get to it as I see it. This really is just a review session, open Q&A for anyone that needs it, wants it, or desires it for whatever reason. All right. I will be moving on to test 53 logic games. Oh, City just scored again. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Okay, so it's not shocking that this is that I got frustrated on this section. This, I think, is the hardest game I've seen. I think this is the hardest game I've seen. Let's try it again. No joke. Definitely not easy. All right. I wonder if I'm just trying too hard and if I should just write down the rules and move on. All right, what if I just do it like this? I do all right. Let's try that and see how we go from there. All right, let's try this again. That one was tough. Still no questions. All right, easy enough. That one was easy. All right. Well, that was definitely the hardest section. Um, with the hardest game I've had. I wonder if anyone has any tricks to this one. So if you have a trick to test 53 Logic Game 2, please let me know. The other ones were pretty straightforward. But yeah, that second game I had to do twice, which means that I ultimately had to do it 3 times. Yeah, that was not easy. Definitely not easy. I got it, but not easy at all. All right. Yeah, so that's my review session. I didn't get any questions, so I'll answer a couple that I got in the email. First question, did you improve the most through doing prep tests versus prep books and tutoring? Um, Definitely, I didn't use any prep books. Uh, I did take a class that went over logical reasoning types, question types, and logic games, and gave a mechanism for how to do logic games that I follow. Um, and I don't think I improved that much doing prep tests. I really feel like I improved by focusing on question types. Focusing on assumption questions and only doing assumption questions until I know how to do assumption questions. Doing inference questions and only doing inference questions until I know how to do inference questions, and so on and so forth. Um, and then once you know how to do them, it's about doing them over and over and over and over and over again until you master them. And then only then did I move on to prep tests, um, and doing full sections instead of just specific types of problems. How many prep tests have you done? Well, I've completed all of the tests from 19 to 53, um, but not many of them were in full test form. I've maybe done, I don't know, 7, 8 total full prep tests in a sitting. Majority of those tests were, like I said, going through the section and doing all the assumption questions until I knew how to do assumption questions. Then going through those same tests and looking for inference questions and strengtheners and weakeners, each one individually. And only then did I move on to full sections. And only after that, I moved on to more than one section at a time. And only then did I move on to prep tests, as in full tests. Which RC books did you use? I didn't use any reading comprehension books. Reading comprehension is stupid. You don't need to read carefully at all, is from what I've understood. To be fair, I've also read pretty complex things. Philosophy is one of the 3 parts of my major. I've read Kant, I've read Aquinas in the original translations. We're talking ye old spelling and confusing words and verbiage and sentences that if anyone were to read without knowing what's going on, you probably wouldn't be able to take away anything. So, I've definitely I can read. I can critically read from my own personal reading. So I didn't feel the need to use any reading comp books. Also, I wouldn't recommend for anyone to use any reading comp books now that I am where I am. The reality is that the more reading comp passages you do, you understand the questions because it's the same questions every time. Not the same ones, but it's the same types of questions that they just rephrase for an individual passage. And once you get used to the pattern and you get used to the types of questions, you you already know what they could ask. And what you know once you know what they could ask, you know what to look for in the passage. And it's not even looking for it. Like my advice for reading comp is don't try. Get the main gist and look for words like rightly or justly. That says those theorists rightly suggest. Oh, really? So the author thinks these guys are right? Cool. Anything else I need to know? Structure. These theorists say A. Those theorists say B. Both of these both of these types of theorists are wrong because of C. And that tells you the structure of the passage. But what happens inside of it, you don't really need to know. And I'm sure there are going to be people that say, yeah, you do need to know them, but you don't need to know it. You just need to be familiar with it. Familiar enough that when you get to a question that you're not sure about, you can go back to the passage where it was, read that sentence over again, and then get the right answer. Because everything is in the passage. It's just a matter of finding it and using it. Other than that, sometimes it uses words that I don't know. And when that happens, I just ignore the words that I don't know and I focus on the other ones, other answer choices. Because if I know what they mean, then if they're right, I know that they're right. And if I know what they mean and I know that they're wrong, then I'll just cancel out all the ones that I know are wrong, and then I end up with the one that I don't know is right, but I know that all the others are wrong, which makes it right. And then last thing, and the best general advice I have, yeah, don't try. The LSAT Study Buddy on reading comprehension. That's all I got. Don't try. Or don't try too hard. Let's put the too hard at the end so I don't feel bad. But yeah, just don't try too hard. And then the last big tidbit that I would offer for all you guys reviewing is to understand that the LSAT is a special type of test, okay? It is what is known as a standardized test. What does that mean? That they need to standardize, make a standard test that they can reuse over and over and over and over again to measure people the same way relative to previous people and to future people. Meaning when they give out scores and you get a 173, it's you finished in the top 1% of people now and people back then and people to come. Why is this important? Very simply, because in order for them to do that, they need to ask the same difficulty of questions, the same type of questions over and over again. Because if they didn't do that, it would be a different test and you wouldn't be able to standardize scores across a large number of people. What does that mean? That means that the LSAT is a test of patterns. It's the same types of questions over and over again. Learn the patterns. Learn the types of questions. That's it. Once you learn the types of questions, there is no more to learn. So it's a pattern test. That's it. Learn the patterns. It's like the SAT math, okay? Trust me, and you can try this. The SAT is, especially the math, and I wasn't good at the other ones, but I can tell you about the math. It's a test of patterns. You can go through it, and it's kind of precise. You can go through questions 1 to 17 in any of the math problems. If 3 of the answer choices are negative and 2 of them are positive, it's a negative choice. If there are 2 sets of 2 of the same number and one a different number, it's going to be one of from the 2 sets of the 2 numbers. And if a bunch of choices are multiples of each other and one of them isn't a multiple, it's going to be one of the multiples. It's and then it for 18 it's the opposite. If there are 18 to 20, if there are 3 negatives and 2 positives, it's almost always going to be a positive. Once you get to the last 3 questions, because those are supposedly harder, so they try to mix it up on you. But yeah, it's a test of patterns. You have to do the same thing over and over again, so they can standardize. So learn the pattern. You don't need to study. I mean, you do need to study, but studying for the LSAT is different. It's not like studying for a test, right? Where you have to understand a concept, or you have to understand a time in history, or you have to understand the causes and effects of war. That's not what the LSAT is. The LSAT is this. You need to know the types of questions. You need to have a mechanism to answer each type of question. And then you need to use that mechanism when that question arises. That's it. When you have an inference, you know that there are a bunch of premises, and you need to draw the line that puts all the premises together to give you a conclusion. It doesn't matter what's written in the passage, whether it's about photosynthesis, or it's about the accumulation of snow, or it's about how many people can fit their fists in their mouths. It doesn't matter, because all you're doing is you're drawing a line from the premises to the conclusion, and then you have to pick the conclusion that follows from the premises. You just draw the line, and then you find it in the answer choices. So again, it's a pattern test. You don't need to learn anything new. You don't need to be smart. You need to understand that it's a pattern test and follow the patterns. That's for me. I don't know how much that tells you. I hope you don't attribute special knowledge to me because my YouTube channel is called the LSAT StudyBuddy. Oh, that means that he's really good at studying for the LSAT. I mean, I'm definitely not bad, but I'm not a professional by any means. I'm a guy studying for the LSAT. Probably just like you, unless you're a girl studying for the LSAT. I'm a person studying for the LSAT. Probably just like anyone watching this. So that's it. That's all I got. You can use it, you cannot use it. But those were all the questions I got in the email. I answered all of them. I'll give this another minute and 15 seconds before I end it. That way, if anyone has any questions, they have a chance to ask before I move on with my life. Until tomorrow, because that's how this LSAT thing goes. Plus, the Chelsea game's about to start, and I'm going to go watch it in 10 minutes. So maybe grab a quick shower beforehand. All right. Doesn't look like there are any questions, so let's start signing off. So I don't know where you guys are. East Coast. I'm closer to the up north, and it is snowing pretty bad. So, and it's also, I guess, 2:06. So I wish you all a good afternoon. Enjoy the snow if you have any. A good night, good morning. Enjoy the sun if you have any of that. I wish I did. But yeah, I hope you have a good breakfast, lunch, dinner, enjoy procrastinating, whatever it is you're doing, wherever you are. I hope it's great, and I hope you love it. I hope that you're smiling and you're being productive and creating your own success. Because success isn't something that's given to you, it's something that you create yourself. So, oh, words of motivation. Oh, ooh. All right. Anyway, I will catch you all later. This was the LSAT Study Buddy. We did a review, a quick Q&A, and we'll be back on tomorrow for test whatever is one more than the one we did on Friday. Adios.